Hello and welcome to Silicon Valley Health Institute. A few technical issues tonight, so we're running a little late, so I apologize for that. Any new first-time visitors? Great, welcome, welcome. We hope to see you back again. So we're Silicon Valley Health Institute. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so we run on your annual memberships, which are $60 or $10 at the door. So it's a great price for the world-class speakers that we bring here. So hopefully we'll see you back again, and tell your friends and bring all your family. Health is important. So a few logistics issues. The bathrooms are down the hall and to the left. We'll have a break around 10 to 9, 5 to 9, just depending on the speaker. And at the beginning, anybody have any announcements they'd like to make for any upcoming health things that are happening that everybody should know about? Anything? Okay. All right. Silicon Valley Health Institute is looking for a couple of things. They're looking for another board member, and we're looking for a membership chair. So if you know of anyone who's interested, have them talk to Susan or myself, and we'll go from there. So at the beginning, we open up the floor for any questions that you may have regarding health, any new information or any new insights that you're looking for. We have some health experts here that can answer some of your questions, and it's just an open forum. Does anybody have any burning questions about their health or about any new technology?
I just wanted to share that I just got back from Germany visiting some of the Lyme and cancer treatment centers there, and the hyperthermia is incredible in terms of the work they're doing with all types of illness using hyperthermia. So hopefully, if anybody's interested, we can talk about it more. Excuse me? Well, it's basically there's low-grade, medium, and high-grade hyperthermia, and it has to do with heating the core body temperature, all the way up to 107, or, and also they work with other IVs at the same time to really help the person. Like, for example, with Lyme, they've had lasting results in a very short period of time comparatively. They have a lot of studies on Lyme of the different clinics. So hopefully I'll be able to give a talk here sometime about my experiences in Germany. So,
what other kind of benefits are happening with the protocols?
well, I think the main thing I've noticed is that the Germans are just very using, not just the hyperthermia, but they've got like 10 other technologies that they use, or many, many technologies that we are not using yet in the United States that really boost the immune system. So they're combining it with other therapies too, but the benefits are like with Lyme, most of the bacteria or the spirochetes or whatever gets killed off at that temperature, and they have everything monitored, so it's very safe for people to have, and depending on their health, it's all customized to the person. So the benefits are if you have Lyme disease or cancer or very, bacteria, viruses, bugs, it kills everything, including Epstein-Barr. So that's, afterwards they do all the post-tests, and sometimes it's just, it's a series of hyperthermia treatments, and it's all individualized to the patient. So.
Okay, any questions? Hold on. So if you have any questions, either now or after the speaker, make sure you get the microphone, because we videotape and we have to have the audio on the microphone.
Thanks for the information on the hyperthermia. Is there any evidence that it kills off viruses? Increasing the internal body heat.
Hold on.
I interviewed quite a few physicians, and I went to the top clinics, and I spent time there asking them a lot of questions. So, yes, absolutely, what you just asked. Fungus, is definitely one of the things they mentioned that it kills off. But again, remember, it's an adjunctive therapy sometimes with other things at the same time, like with the cancer and Lyme, they're using a lot of other antimicrobial and other therapies while they're doing the hyperthermia or in conjunction with that. But it is very effective, and the results, the people I've talked to are really, it's really dramatic remissions of Lyme's disease and some of these Epstein-Barr viruses that they, couldn't manage themselves for their lifetime. So,
Are you saying hyperthermia or hypo? Hyper. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Increasing temperature.
I think just to build up on that concept, I know they're utilizing in UCSF, I guess, the hyperthermia for cancer patients. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way to be able to utilize it for yourself if you're not a cancer patient. So what is the way to go to Germany then? But there's also another one which is quite more effective than hyperthermia, irotherm they call it, and it's a short time of a high heat treatment, not very low heat for a long time, which works also wonderful. And that's also something that I've experienced in Switzerland, but it's a German technology. Fever treatment is German technology. So if irotherm, and if somebody knows if anybody has it in the United States, that's so important to have. And so far, a year and a half, I cannot find anything. And anybody utilizing irotherm. Nobody knows of it. So if anybody knows, or if any physician that is here right now, they would be interested of buying technology from Germany or something else so that we have an access to it here, it's absolutely critical.
What is the technology hold on.
It's basically a special infrared light that comes, it's a special wave of infrared and near infrared. They call it type A infrared or something else, and it runs through the tube with water. So the waves are coming through the water first to hit your body, and then it penetrates the body, and you're lying there for a short time, maybe an hour, and you reach in a fever high temperature for a short period of time. And then it kind of stays with you until the end of the day, the fever, but then very immune boosting. That's it.
Hold on.
How many treatments would you need, and what does it treat?
So it's an immune therapy, and it all depends on the patient. So whatever is patient facing, and you never know, if you have cancer or if you have Lyme or viruses, it's just an immune therapy that will work for many of the things that immune system is responsible for. And it does depend on the patient and their condition for how long of a treatment you need to get, how many. But the more the better. Why do we use the infrared saunas? Even every day they recommend. It's the same concept, but in a sort of more medical environment. Medically supervised, not just a sauna therapy.
So since it's not here, infrared saunas are definitely a really good thing to do on a regular basis. It sounds like this is a little bit more targeted, specific therapy, which would be great to learn more about. Too bad Bern's not here because he would probably know something about it. Have you heard about it, Steve? Oh, really? Any comments?
The immune system is very strongly temperature responsive, and our bodies are designed to run at our core body enzyme systems are strongly regulated to run at a particular temperature, which is 98.6 or 98.0 to 98.6. And our peripheral tissues can handle a hugely larger temperature range. You can put your hand into 120-degree water or ice water, and you're not going to die from it because your hand, the enzymes can tolerate a bigger temperature difference. So your immune system is, its activity increases by a factor of 2 for every 10 degrees increase. So just going up 2 degrees or 4 degrees, it gives it a huge advantage in terms of responding to a foreign invader. So the idea is that by creating a hot body temperature everywhere, you can, in a sense, create a fever artificially, or by focusing on a part of the body that can tolerate heat better, you can get temperatures, extreme temperatures, that are way higher than what your core body can tolerate, which then may activate the immune system and have it target something. There's a lot of immune therapies where they'll inject things like colitoxins, which are bacterial products that are broken down into pieces that they give injections to people, and the immune system goes nuts in response to all of these kinds of antigens that are presented. And the idea is that in that process of breaking the immune system out of its rut and causing it to react to things, that it will react to, for example, cancer. And that your body will naturally kill off the cancer as a result of being stimulated by these bacterial compounds. So this is one of the things that people are now proposing for health, general health and wellness, or for example, cold plunges. And so this is the way you put your body into a very cold environment for a period of time, and then your body reacts to that cold by turning back on your metabolism and creating heat to fight off the cold. And if every time you do it, you get a little bit more exposure to cold, then your body develops more adaptive capacity for generating heat. In some of the more northern climates, people go out in the middle of the winter and roll in the snow naked. That's a perfect example of that kind of thing. And Samuel Clemens wrote about his experiences as a child, where in the middle of the winter, his mother would take all the kids out into the yard and strip them down and pour a bucket of water on their heads. And then when they're standing there shivering, she would roll them in sheets and linens and just roll them and roll them and roll them. And then within 10 minutes, they'd be sweating profusely. So that idea of being able to, stimulate heat or cold responses in people and create thermal adaptation is very much part of the immune system.
I'll try to get to the mics to you as quickly as possible.
I was raised in a Finnish family, and my parents, every time we'd get a cold or something, we would go to sauna, and the sauna would be 180 degrees for 15 minutes, and we would go out and roll in the snow, naked, and this was in northern Michigan, and to this day, I can tolerate 200 degrees in a sauna, and I haven't had a cold in 20 years or 30 years. Anecdotal.
Okay, any other questions?
Hyperbaric oxygen. Any suggestions as to the least expensive or time-consuming approach in that dimension?
And we could speak a little more about this during the lecture, but OxyHealth has several different units, and it really comes down to sizing. Their smaller units are just as effective as the larger units. There's a substantial price difference. The difference between breathing 100% oxygen and just doing compressed room air is just going to get you a quicker result with the 100% oxygen. Nonetheless, the smaller units, it's worth, I could give you guys the name of the sales rep there at OxyHealth. They commonly will have used units that you could pick up. We have a hard chamber in our office that is booked around the clock, and we use it for a variety of things, from traumatic brain injuries to treating Lyme disease and whatnot. But their home units are spectacular. We generally suggest people either rent them for at home. We could get you a fairly good deal from $700 to about $1,000 a month, or you could purchase from anywhere from about $4,000 to $5,000 up to about $20,000, depending on size.
That's a great technology. my best friend's wife's dad just had some heart surgery at the Veterans Hospital and had a stroke incident afterwards. And, you know, they don't do hyperbaric oxygen in hospitals, but, you know, if you can get a stroke patient into them, you know, right after they've had the stroke, you're going to have some more, you know, better results as far as the outcome of the stroke goes. So that's really good technology. Did you have a question?
Ozone therapy and ozone machine that anybody recommends?
Yeah, she was asking about ozone machines. Who's the dentist up in?
There is a Dr. Eric Zemensky in Marin that can help you with that. Also on my radio show, when I interviewed Robert Rowan, he made some suggestions as to specific machines. And so my show is Occupy Health on Voice America. Look for Robert Rowan. He made some suggestions at the end. Or get Eric Zemensky, who practices in Marin.
Okay, any other questions?
Can anyone recommend the best sauna around here?
Sunlight is one that I know of that's infrared and has the right lights that wavelengths that she's suggesting. Steve, you have any suggestions for infrared saunas?
I think the best arrangement for household affordability are the ceramic panels. They're efficient enough that you can run the entire sauna for 2 or maybe 3 people off of a 20 amp single line, 110 volts. But if you're doing it, you know, the old-fashioned way with steam and heating air, you generally need a special installation like what you'd have for a dryer or a electric stove, where it takes a huge amount of amps. But the nice thing about them too is that even though you get into them and they don't necessarily feel warm, the heat energy travels from the ceramic to your body, and it's absorbed by your skin, and so you're spending all the energy heating your body instead of heating all the air. So that's I think the best way to go.
I'm a big fan of infrared saunas, and I'm not endorsed by any company or have any disclosures, but we use clear light saunas. The one thing I think is important, they have a wealth of knowledge, but any company that you deal with, see if they've done any EMF testing, because unfortunately some of the heaters are putting off more EMFs and they're probably putting off infrared rays. So the ceramic ones are certainly of utmost importance to seek out. And also there's quite a few knockoffs coming out of China that I think you need to be careful with.
Excellent. Okay, I have one announcement as well. I've been working with a company called DynoSense for about 2.5 years, and I finally got one of their devices called the Dyno 50, and it measures 15 health metrics in about 30 seconds. They say less than 60, but I've been counting, and it's like 25 seconds. And they're having a whole slew. They've got a blood pressure cuff that only goes on the wrist, so it's not you know, the arm thing that's more difficult to do. And you actually, once the other devices come out, you won't even need the cuff. You just do a baseline with the cuff, and then you'll have the ability to get blood pressure from your fingertips and through a technology called PPG. But dynosense.com, they're also putting the scale out there, so it's going to be an amazing product. The Dyno 100 has 33 health metrics, and it's going to be great, you know, for you to keep track of health metrics, you know, every morning, every night, and track, you know, what's going on for you. So, DynoSense, dynosense.com. So, okay.
I just tried to find it, and it's for me a page not found.
No, DYNO. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually, you know, probably could get. In fact, I can bring the device myself and do a quick demonstration, maybe at the next forum here. So.